Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer. He's on the East Coast, and we've got player props on a Monday. I almost said Friday. What day of the week is it, Nate? It's Monday here in the NBA with 4 games. We're just kicking off the week here after a pretty big Sunday slate. So we've only got 4 tonight. Not our favorite plays, not our favorite night for picking sides here, Nate, but I know we've got a couple player props that we're definitely eyeing with some value. Definitely want to continue to follow along. Check out the best bets we have up for you today as well. Like and subscribe to that page. Also head to thelines.com. Check out all the written content we're putting up on the site, and you can use that prop finder tool to make sure you're getting the best odds on all these player props that you are betting on this season. Quick run through on the season, 69 and 53, Nate. We are up 16.1 units after about 3 weeks of hoop. We are 32 and 31 in the player props, but we found some value here to get us up to about 5 units on the year as well. So despite just being one game over 500, we are finding the value there with those plus money bets as we are looking at this first one here for you, Nate. Let's jump into your first player prop.
Yeah, we might like some props more than sides here tonight as we talk about in best bets. Knicks +8. Other than that, you might want to be parlaying some player performance doubles here with the results. And for me, it's Scotty Barnes getting boards and assists. 13.5 is a pretty low total because he only went for 9 against the Celtics in a blowout loss last time out. Otherwise, he's been fantastic this season. I mean, at home, averaging 20, 10, and 4.5 to get you over this. And that's against what I would consider 2 of the best defenses, Minnesota, Philly, and also a bad game state against Portland and Milwaukee, where he went for 21, 12, and 5, leading the team to 130. Like, Schroeder is the point guard, but Scotty Barnes is the hub through which this Raptors offense is running. He's also attacking the glass so that he can push and initiate the offense. And the matchup doesn't get any better, right? Wizards, fastest pace in the league, most assists, most rebounds. Doesn't really matter what position you play, you can get them. And the Raptors are the number 1 rebounding team by rebounding rate, with Scotty up 6% as a defensive rebounder, 21% of the available boards, getting nearly 4 offensive rebounds per 100 possessions. And we're talking about over 100 possessions per game when the Wizards play. They also allow the second most offensive rebounds. His assist rate is up. His player efficiency rating is very high. He's actually 9th in value over replacement and 10th in box plus minus, if you're into that sort of thing. But the point is, you should be getting counting stats because the Wizards are just giving it up.
Hey, man, don't be scared to nerd out with me about box plus minus. I'm here for it. I definitely buy into everything with Scotty Barnes because whether you like counting stats or you like, behind the scenes nerd stats, you're going to like Scotty Barnes and what he's doing this season. I guarantee it. Let's move on to Jay Randall here at 18.5 points. And for those of you spewing the Julius Randle hate on the internet, kind of valid. But at the same time, I think there's a good reason to believe that he's going to start scoring a bit more moving forward. I don't think we're going to have 18.5 points as his points prop for very long. The first 6 games of the season, he was averaging 13.7 points per game. That's how we've seen his points prop drop consistently as we move forward through this season. In his last 3 games, now he's coming alive on the offensive side of the ball, 24 points per game, right? So he jumped that up 10 points. He went from 25% on the usage to 34%. And that's really what it was, is that the assists were high, the potential assists were high, which I was fine with as a Knicks fan. He was dishing the ball and playing team ball, and I was fine with that. However, it just didn't really work because a lot of it was him just really having to bail himself out by passing after really getting himself into trouble by driving into traffic, or he would just have a poor percentage shooting from deep, which he really, really was struggling so much from everywhere on the floor that I just didn't even care. I was like an anomaly. It was like, this isn't real math or stats that we can use moving forward to be like, well, maybe he's not good anymore because he's shooting 27% from the field in his first 6 games. That's just not going to be how it continues. The 22% from 3, also something he's improved. So he's up to 44% from the field, 33% from deep, and even 77% from the free throw line, where he's now averaging 2 more free throws a game than he was in those first 6 games, right? So it's really just a tale of 2 seasons for him at this point. And the fact that he only played 27 minutes last night was an efficient 23 points, 5 boards, and 5 assists on the floor, shooting 50% from the field. That all was like against a Hornets team that's just going to be a little bit less of an opposing opponent than you will get from the Celtics down low with Kristaps and Horford. But shout out Mark Williams having a great season. Either way, in this one, he's going to be playing a team that he loves playing. This Knicks team just loves playing the Celtics, and he's good for 20 in this matchup. He went for at least 23 in all four versus Boston last season, 27 points per game, 9 boards in that time frame with a 30% usage rate in 38 minutes. So that 30% usage and 35 plus minutes is what I'm looking at for Jay Randall as like, if he's going to put up 18 to 20 shots, he's, like he has been the last 3 games, then I think he's good for the 18 and a half points, especially if he's getting to the free throw line way more like he has been. The thing that scared me was that Drew Holiday was guarding him. You took note of this too, that Drew Holiday was guarding him in that first game versus the Celtics, and that weirded me out. So then I went back and looked at his numbers versus the Bucks, and I was like, does Drew Holiday shut Julius Randle down? And it was like, no, Julius Randle has bad numbers against the Bucks, but that's because Giannis is guarding him, who is the best power forward defender in a long time and definitely in the league right now. So I don't think we worry about that quite as much. The potential assists have gone down for him. The usage has gone up, and we're getting great value at 18 and a half.
Yeah, it's going to be an ugly game is why we like the Knicks. And if it's ugly, if the play is frenetic, I'll take Julius Randle to just bully his way down there to try to get Porzingis in foul trouble or if he gets matched up on Tatum, just be stronger than him. The Drew Holiday stuff is interesting though, because you can really just cross match Tatum onto like Quentin Grimes, get him some rest on the defensive end, right? And yeah. I think the Celtics might stick with that. But again, I mean, as strong and as good as Drew Holiday is, giving up 7 inches or whatever to Randle, you'd think there'll be some second chance points, maybe some rebounds to get.
And Randle, real quick, he was 1 for 10 too against Drew, and he still had 13 points. So
yeah, I like leaning into that because Jalen Brunson, he's gonna have Derek White hounding him, so the Knicks are gonna have to look somewhere else for points at times. I guess I'm going with the 2021 co-rookies of the year, if you will. I know Mobley lost out to Scotty Barnes, but I will take him tonight. Evan Mobley over 15 and a half points is, around even money, good odds. I think you can tack on 2 assists, 17 and a half there against this Kings team that has been playing better lately, but is still can be had for sure if you're a versatile big man. We saw Alperen Şengün destroy Sabonis a few games ago. Josh, some flashbacks there trying to take the unders. Then they coughed up 38, 9, and 5 to Jeremy Grant in a close game against Portland. So now allowing the 9th most points per game to power forwards, along with 3.7 assists per game. Mobley averaging a solid 16 and 3 assists in his 4 career against the Kings. Jared Allen and Garland are back. So Mobley, his numbers might have come down a little bit. In the last 2 they have against the Thunder and Warriors, completely different matchups though. But he's still, his peripherals have come down. He's still averaging 20 and a half points per game in those matchups. And now he gets Sabonis, the Kings team that can't really guard the paint right now, despite Mike Brown's defensive principles. With Allen out in, his rebounds do go down as you'd expect. Like I said, peripherals down, but the points, usage, assists, all the same. And his points and assists are actually up with Darius Garland playing because, as you'd expect, good table setter and just, him being part of the flow of the offense. I think it's less just Donnie Mitchell iso ball when they have their full guys back. So I like Mobley to score here against the Kings team that I don't really respect their front court defense.
Nor should you. I didn't know if you were going to stop with that I don't respect, or if you were going to say a specific thing like, that I don't respect down low when it comes to defense. I think is a very fair way to end that statement. Evan Mobley is a good way to attack this. I was trying to figure out the best way if I wanted to take a Cavs player. I don't really know what to do with the Cavs on offense. If I could be totally honest, I still just somehow having 2 incredibly versatile offensive guards is still just not working. I honestly want to blame Donnie Mitchell a little bit. Neither of them play well off the ball. That's a huge part of it. So yeah, I think attacking Evan Mobley's props right now is a really good idea. I've been doing that by fading Jared Allen a bit since he's come back, also knowing that Allen's minutes were going to be slowly ramped up, but it's the same concept. Evan Mobley's increase in output was a big reason for me fading Jared Allen, and his increase in playing down low, more points in the paint, more rebound chances right now as well, because he's the one standing down there boxing out the biggest guy on the other team. So I'm here for it, for all the Evan Mobley against DeMontis. Let's finish it off with some red velvet cake, baby. Hope you're hungry for some red velvet. We got Kevin Huerter over 15 and a half points in this one. And it's a simple bet for Huerter, who's coming off a 28 nice win against that Thunder team that was a bit of a shock to both of us on Friday. I think it was a shock to a lot of people too, because it was a ripe opportunity for the Thunder to prove that they were like better and move forward. And they didn't quite do that, but they had a nice win on Sunday that Thunder did against the Suns. Anyway, Huerter's 15.5 points is a result of just the line not catching up with the fact that he is going to continue to have a nice high usage rate with De'Aaron Fox out, who's doubtful, but let's just be honest, he's like not going to play tonight. The secret to the Kings' success without D Fox on offense is more Huerter, always more Huerter. With and without Fox last season, Huerter was 14.5 points per game with him, jumps up to 19.5 without him, right? The usage goes from 19.5. Last season, it was at 19.5 with Fox in there. This season, it was at 14.5 with Fox in there. He wasn't really getting many shots up in the first 3 games when Fox was healthy. He's up to 23% usage without Fox this season. And that includes the first couple games where he wasn't really able to get very many minutes. He was getting fouls in the first 3 games without Fox. He had 3.5 fouls in just 22 minutes per game in those 3. So he couldn't stay on the floor. And he only averaged 9 points per game. That also included 2 blowouts versus the Sengun-led Rockets that kept him from being able to play too many minutes as well. But now you move into the last 2 games and you see that change in what's been happening. He's up to 37.5 minutes in 2 tight games that they've played now versus Portland and OKC that both came. One of them was overtime against the Blazers. And then the OKC game was still pretty close down to the wire, ended up being a 7-point game or so. But he's got 22 points per game in the last 2 on a 22% usage rate, 22.5% or so. And it's really about the threes too. He's taken 8, 9, and 10 3-point attempts in his last 3 games when he's actually been able to be on the floor. It's 2.5 threes for him. It's not really going to get you anything much if you parlay it together. I still don't think you get to plus odds because the 2.5 threes is at like minus 155 for him. And it's so correlated to him getting 15.5 points that if he gets 3 threes, right, there's a pretty solid chance he's getting 16 points in that game. And so there's not really much point in that to me. If you wanted to try to like get cute and ladder it, maybe you want to. But I mean, Cleveland's 3-point defense isn't bad. They're also pretty good against shooting guards. They're not good against point guards is Cleveland. But like there's not really a point guard now on the floor for this team as much as it is like get the ball into a ball handler's hands and then get it down to DeMontis so he can get another 13 assists like he had in the last game, which is a huge reason why Huerter had so many open threes. And I think that game theory persists in this one against Cleveland.
Yeah, DeMontis is the point guard when Fox is out for sure. And Huerter's the best guy playing off him. Mm-hmm. Really impressed with him on Friday night. Yeah, he was just so quick and decisive with his cuts when the ball was in his hands, just like playing at a really high level. And the Cavs had this perception of being a good defensive team on the wing, but Isaac Okoro out means more Max Strus, more Karis LeVert, right? So I don't think that the matchup is as tough as the perception might be. I think Huerter keeps it going at home here, so I'm fine with that pick, yeah, for the points.
Oh, yeah, Red Velvet. Let's get it. All right, that's all the time we have for you in Play Props tonight. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you would to that page. Check out the best bets video that we have up for you as well. We'll look to stay up, 16 units on the season and keep climbing. So until we see you next, happy betting.